Well, this weekend, the South Carolina women's basketball team returns to action against Auburn, but before the game, it will be a special celebration. The great A'ja Wilson is set to have her jersey retired at Colonial Life Arena on Sunday. Already with a statue out front, A'ja will now have her jersey up in the rafters.
A'ja Wilson's jersey retirement tickets are less expensive than a fancy burger. That's right. You can honor one of the most accomplished players in WNBA history for only $16, and they haven't sold out yet. Meanwhile, fans of Caitlin Clark are vying for $1,000 tickets to her retirement. What's the deal? How did Wilson go from having a statue outside the arena to having trouble selling out her own jersey retirement? We're going to dissect her shocking decline that has the basketball world abuzz, and I promise you won't want to miss the true cause of this historic collapse.
Caitlin Clark crash-outs continue, and it's all about the Caitlin Clark now playing for Iowa. Well, she played for Iowa and her jersey being retired on the same day as A'ja Wilson's. You see how it doesn't go the opposite way? Like, nobody really cares. Like, A'ja Wilson has her retirement jersey on the 2nd of February, 2.2. Yeah, she wears 22. Obviously, it's the right thing to do. And then Caitlin Clark, unfortunately, wears the same number to the A'ja fans, so it's the right thing to do. People being like, oh, A'ja had decided hers first. Yeah, they announced A'ja Wilson's first. Clark's jersey's been in the bleachers since preseason.
It's like a ghost town out there, and South Carolina is literally giving away free tickets to avoid empty seats because of A'ja Wilson's retirement. You might be wondering, wait, isn't this A'ja Wilson? Yes, the same A'ja Wilson, one of the most decorated players in WNBA history. But here's where it gets really interesting. Her jersey hasn't even been retired yet.
And Camilla, but the greatest of them all is A'ja Wilson, who will have her jersey retired on Sunday. Long overdue. I know Dawn was saying there's a whole process, but if it was up to her, she probably would have had that jersey retired right after she graduated. Already has a statue. Now,
you may be wondering how we got here. So let's go back in time and take a trip down memory lane to when A'ja Wilson was the undisputed basketball queen of South Carolina. It's hard to believe that it has been nearly 7 years since she led the Gamecocks to their first ever national title in 2017, which significantly changed the state's reputation.
I think A'ja set a standard at South Carolina of giving 110% of who you are, not just 110% of who you are as a player. And I think that's a huge part of her legacy because she's the GOAT. She's phenomenal. She's the greatest basketball player to ever play at South Carolina.
You would think that they would have retired Wilson's jersey immediately after she graduated in 2018. LeBron James has switched teams twice. A whole new superstar has emerged in college basketball, and Wilson herself has won 3 WNBA MVP awards. But instead, South Carolina is acting as though they just realized they had this incredible player who deserves some recognition. Apparently, they have a rule that says they must wait 5 years after a player's final college season before retiring their jersey. But even with that rule, they're still 2 years late to their own party. It's as if they forgot to send out the invitations and then realized they had better do something for A'ja.
Already with a statue out front, A'ja will now have her jersey up in the rafters, joining some of the most legendary Gamecock basketball players of all time.
This is where things start to become pretty intriguing. Wilson already has a statue outside the Colonial Life Arena that was put up back in January 2021. Let me clarify, they built a whole statue for her, but couldn't bring themselves to retire her jersey. It's like creating a shrine for someone without remembering to hang up their picture. The timing of all of this is mind-blowing, as South Carolina decides to honor our own superstar while Caitlin Clark is making waves and becoming the talk of women's basketball. It's difficult not to see this as a last-ditch effort to regain some of that spotlight, but the worst part is that they arrive at the games so late that it feels more like an afterthought than a celebration.
Oh, A'ja had decided hers first. Yeah, they announced A'ja Wilson's first. Clark's jersey's been in the bleachers since preseason. Clark's jersey has been in the bleachers since before they announced A'ja's. There is a reason why there is a nationally televised game, Iowa versus USC, on the 2nd of February. This has been in the works since the day she said, since last February.
We're talking about A'ja Wilson, the player who made South Carolina women's basketball famous, who became a WNBA superstar, and who won Olympic gold. And yet here we are watching her alma mater mess up what should have been a simple celebration. Fans are baffled, and can you blame them? It seems like South Carolina forgot to invite the guest of honor to her own birthday party, and they're wondering why it took so long.
Y'all, I'm going to get jumped. I can hear the pitchforks and the flames outside of my door as we speak. So what happened was Iowa announced that they are going to be retiring Caitlin Clark's jersey on February 5th, which is in
February 5th. Like, the whole reason it's iconic is it was February the 2nd, 2.2. And date and name wrong, apparently.
like a couple months. For my non-sports fans, this is like a huge ceremony where they put her jersey up in the rafters, and that means no one can ever wear number 22 at Iowa ever again.
Okay, let's get started on this crazy ticket saga that has the basketball world in a frenzy. You won't believe how drastically different A.A. Wilson's and Caitlin Clark's retirement jerseys are. It's comparable to contrasting a 5-star meal with a fancy burger, and the cost is represented.
I think every single one of us knows that that is what's going to happen on the 2nd of February, is that Caitlin Clark fans are going to be celebrating Caitlin Clark, A'ja Wilson fans are going to be screaming, look at A'ja, look at A'ja, look at A'ja. And I think A'ja Wilson will do a look at me. I will stand by that. Like, that would be, I genuinely think she is going to be, she's going to say something about this. I would be shocked if she doesn't.
So imagine this, AA. You would think that fans would be lining up around the block for tickets to Wilson's ceremony as the 3-time WNBA MVP and Olympic gold medalist is retiring her jersey. Well, hold on to your seats, because the shocking truth is that tickets for Wilson's ceremony are starting at just $16, which is less than the price of a movie ticket and some popcorn. You can watch basketball history, but even at that bargain basement price, they are still not sold out.
Well, her prices for her game are high. The only problem is Caitlin Clark's are literally about 11 times higher.
Let's now reverse the narrative and examine Caitlin Clark's circumstances. Her jersey retirement in Iowa City is comparable to attempting to get front row seats at a sold-out performance, with ticket costs rising from $200 to more than $1,000. Can you believe that when Clark's number soars, supporters are willing to spend a lot of money simply to be inside the building? The demand is so great that Iowa is finding it difficult to keep up with the full-on basketball frenzy.
Caitlin Clark, the cheapest ticket is $522. Yeah, if that tells you anything, $522.
But why is there such a huge disparity? How did Wilson, a player who had a statue outside her arena, end up having trouble selling out her own jersey retirement? It's not just about their on-court prowess. Both of these women are exceptionally gifted athletes. The timing seems so strange, as if they noticed all the excitement surrounding Clark and decided, oh, yeah, we have a good player too. But rather than leveraging Wilson's prime, they're attempting to steal some of Clark's glory. It's no wonder Wilson's retirement from the jersey feels more like a thought than a celebration.
Two iconic names, one historic date. On February 2nd, 2025, women's basketball will celebrate A'ja Wilson and Caitlin Clark in ways that cement their legacies forever. As fans debate whose impact is greater, ticket sales tell a story of their own, with Clark's jersey retirement commanding prices more typical of marquee NBA games. We're well past that, folks.
It's not only sad, but downright embarrassing that they're giving away tickets for free because they're so desperate to fill seats. In Iowa City, on the other hand, they're probably wishing they had a larger arena. The contrast is so stark that it's almost comical. Can you imagine one of the most decorated players in WNBA history, and they can't even sell out her retirement jersey at $16 a pop? The demand for Clark's retirement ceremony is likely making Iowa's ticket office feel like they're managing a 3-ring circus.
This appears to be the most expensive it has ever been to go to a WNBA game, or to a women's basketball game ever.
What's actually happening here, then? Is it just a matter of timing, or is there something more going on here? Some people are wondering if Wilson's previous remarks about Clark are haunting her. You know, back when Wilson couldn't stop making fun of Clark, but now that the roles have been reversed, things don't seem good for Wilson.
Or pissed that this is the second day, or the same day. Now, I say a lot of people, A'ja Wilson fans are pissed that it's the same day. From far as I can tell, Caitlin Clark fans don't give a rip. about Asia Wilson's jersey retirement. I'm being honest here.
This entire circumstance demonstrates how swiftly things can change in the sports world. It's a harsh reminder that in the world of sports, it's not just about what you've accomplished. It's also about staying relevant and connecting with fans. Wilson seems to sense the change. She's been quoted as saying she feels like she'll be forgotten. And when you look at these ticket sales, you can't help but wonder if she's right. It's a difficult pill to swallow for someone who was once the face of women's basketball. Remember, when Wilson was hailed as the undisputed queen of basketball, times have changed, and Caitlin Clark's ascent has generated a lot of controversy. But the real story is the striking difference between two universities' decisions to honor their star athletes' legacies.
Hawkeye women's basketball player in history to have her number retired.
A week after her final game and months before the official ceremony, Iowa announced that Clark's jersey would no longer be worn. This momentum carried into the next season, setting the stage for a marquee matchup on February 2nd, 2025, when Iowa faced USC and Juju Watkins in their first nationally televised weekend game 22 for number 22. The Hawkeyes knew the power of media attention and momentum and were prepared to seize the moment. When the Hawks wrapped up their second consecutive national runner-up season in April, Beth GS made it clear that a legacy had already been cemented.
USC and Juju Watkins, nationally televised game, I believe. February 2nd, 2-2, so it's 22. Everything about it lines up.
Despite everything Wilson accomplished, South Carolina is approaching the retirement of her jersey in a very different way. The announcement seemed haphazard, leaving fans wondering why it took so long. Then, almost without warning, South Carolina made it official in October 2024, but almost 4 months later, tickets still haven't sold out.
Sentiments that was expressed was, oh, it's the same day as Asia Wilson's, how could you do? First of all, I remember them announcing Asia Wilson was getting her jersey retired, but I didn't remember the date or anything. When the Clark news broke, I didn't think about Asia Wilson. And again, as is the case with Caitlin Clark, this only is going to bring more attention to Asia Wilson's jersey retirement.
This circumstance calls into question how universities manage the legacies of their best athletes. Making the most of the Caitlin Clark sensation, Iowa is making sure she receives the proper send-off. The extreme disparity between Clark and Wilson's jersey retirements highlights a deeper aspect of women's basketball today. Fan interaction, handling celebrity, and developing a brand that goes well beyond the game are now more important than just on-court performance.
Especially in today's day and age where there's no such thing as a sellout, right? Where you can go to any event you want as long as you're willing to pay for it because of the secondary ticket market. So, as you can see, Iowa taking on USC and Juju Watkins, nationally televised game, I believe. February 2nd, 2-2, so it's 22. Everything about it lines up.
With the secondary ticket market in place today, the idea of a true sellout has vanished. Instead, supply and demand dictate that everyone who is prepared to pay can attend any event they want. Wilson's retirement from Jersey ought to have been her turning point, but it seems like a lost chance. Crazy, you're right. Statistics and ceremonies are no longer enough. The true lesson is found in the contrast between A.A. Wilson and Caitlin Clark. These two athletes and their respective handlings teach us exactly how to win or lose the hearts of spectators, and they are genuinely very different from one another.
Get to compare the ratings, because I would assume that game against Auburn will be televised somewhere.
Wilson and Clark are both amazing athletes, but only one of them is packing arenas, and that's not the one with the statue outside. Why is that? It's easy. Following her final collegiate game, Clark took the time to express her gratitude and pride in being a Hawkeye, and that sincere connection struck a chord with everyone. Clark communicates with her fans as if they are a part of her journey.
Incredible, something I'm very thankful for, and obviously I've had some amazing teammates over the course of my 4 years here, and there's been a lot of really good 22s to come before me and play for this program, whether it's Kathleen Doyle or Sam Logic, so that number holds a lot of weight, far beyond my name, and I guess I'm just really grateful, and it'll be a special day when that happens.
Wilson has, however, made a few mistakes along the way. For example, when she criticized Clark for receiving too much attention or the entire shoe controversy, she caused attention. It seems as though she has forgotten that sports are about more than just winning. They're about connecting with people and evoking feelings. While it's perfectly acceptable for two schools to retire their jerseys on the same day, if the intention was for A.A. Wilson to be the center of attention, she's likely to receive less attention as the second most talked about jersey retirement of the day than she would have if she had had the stage alter ego. Clark's appeal isn't just rooted in her skill. It's also in her relatability, charm, and accessibility. When she posts on social media, it feels personal, as if she's speaking directly to you.
He's going to bring more attention to A'ja Wilson's jersey retirement. First of all, there's nothing wrong with two schools retiring respective jerseys on the same day. But secondly, if you wanted the focus to be on A'ja Wilson, she'll probably get more attention as the second, most recognized jersey retirement of that day.
South Carolina is also providing free seats for Wilson's jersey retirement ceremony, which serves as a reminder of the disconnect. If it were her, Miles' lines would lengthen, something you can't image happening with Clark. Wilson is still among the best players in the world, so she has time to make an impression, but the question is whether she can connect with her fans. The real lesson here is that being a great player isn't enough in today's sports world. You also need to be a great person. Clark understands that fans want to feel like they belong, and that's exactly what they're looking for. Simply posting on social media isn't enough. It takes real vulnerability and effort.
So this special season may have come to an end, but the impact the Iowa women's basketball team have had will last a lifetime.
Wow. What an incredible journey A.A. Wilson's story has taken us on. It's incredible to consider how quickly things can change in sports, even for the biggest stars. 1 minute you're slaying it with a statue outside the arena, and the next you're having trouble filling seats for your own jersey retirement. It truly makes you wonder if this is the end for A.A. Wilson, or if she can somehow turn things around. What do you think of all this? Is Wilson's fall from grace permanent, or is there still hope for her to regain her place in the spotlight? Please share your thoughts in the comments section below, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you're hungry for more shocking basketball stories like this one. I promise you won't want to miss what we have in store for you.